When you were 8, summer lasted forever. A single June afternoon could feel like a whole vacation. Now, you're 40, or 35, or 28, and the years just blur. March arrives on a Monday, and somehow it's Christmas again. Where did the time go? You're not imagining it. Almost everyone feels this. And for decades, scientists thought it was just nostalgia, a trick of memory. But new research is showing something deeper. The way you experience time isn't fixed. It's changing inside you, year after year. And once you understand why, you can actually slow it back down. Here's the puzzle. Clocks don't change speed. Days are still 24 hours. Years are still 365 of them. But your experience of them, the subjective sense of time passing, has clearly compressed. That means the distortion isn't out there. It's in here, in your brain. And because it's in your brain, multiple mechanisms can be at work at once. So let's walk through the 4 leading explanations. Each one is real. None of them, alone, is the whole answer. They stack. The oldest theory is the simplest. A year to a 5-year-old is 20% of their entire life. They've only been alive for 5 of those. But a year to a 50-year-old is 2%. That's a 10-fold shrinkage in raw proportion. So when you're young, every unit of time is enormous relative to everything you've experienced. When you're old, every unit is tiny. Subjective time, by this logic, is just ratio. It's elegant. It's also incomplete, because even children who know their birthdays feel time pass differently than adults do. And the proportionality rule can't explain why some adult years feel long and others vanish. The second explanation has to do with memory encoding. Your brain doesn't store every moment. It stores what's novel, what's surprising, what's emotionally charged. When you were 8, almost everything was novel. The first time you saw the ocean, the first day of school, the first time it snowed. Each one got a rich, detailed memory file. When you were 30, most days are repeats. Same commute, same coffee, same faces. Your brain, efficient as it is, compresses routine almost to zero. And here's the kicker. You experience time not in real time, but in remembered time. More memories, longer feeling years. Fewer memories, vanishing years. The third mechanism is attention itself. There's a famous study from the 80s where divers in a dark cave, with no clocks, no light, no cues, estimated how long they'd been underwater. They were off by a factor of 2. When you're absorbed in something, time speeds up. When you're waiting, time crawls. Adults spend enormous amounts of time on autopilot, driving the same route, folding the same laundry, scrolling the same feed. Your conscious attention is barely engaged. And because attention is the metronome of subjective time, disengaged attention means collapsed time. Kids, by contrast, are almost never on autopilot. Everything is new. Everything is witnessed. The fourth explanation is biochemical. Dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation, declines roughly 7% per decade after your early 20s. And dopamine does more than make you feel good. It tags moments as significant. A team at McGill showed this in a striking way. Rats in mazes, given drugs that blocked dopamine, dramatically underestimated how much time had passed. Give them a dopamine boost, and their time estimation snapped back. The same effect shows up in humans. Brain imaging studies, Salimpur and Zald, around 2011, found that music-induced chills, those shivers down your spine, line up almost perfectly with dopamine release in the striatum. Time feeling needs dopamine. Less dopamine, thinner time. And there's a fifth piece, more speculative but fascinating. Your brain samples the world at a certain rate, like a video camera. Younger brains, with thicker myelin insulation on their neurons, run faster. They pull in more frames per second. More frames, more detail, longer feeling moments. As myelin degrades with age, your effective frame rate drops. Subjective time compresses. This is still being researched, but the math is suggestive. If a 5-year-old is sampling reality at 60 frames per second and a 60-year-old at 40, then a single second of real time contains 25% more perceptual data for the child. That's a lot of extra time to live through. So which one is it? Honestly, all 4, and probably more we haven't identified yet. The proportional ratio is a baseline. Novelty encoding thickens, or thins the memory record. Attention sets the metronome. Dopamine tags the moments worth keeping. Brain processing speed sets the sample rate. They stack, they compound, and they all, separately, point in the same direction. Years feel shorter not because one thing changed, but because everything changed at once. That's why the effect is so universal and so robust. Here's the part that matters. You can actually slow perceived time back down. The evidence is clear. Anything that increases novelty, travel, learning a skill, changing routines, deep conversations with new people, measurably thickens your memory record. More rich memories, longer feeling years. Anything that boosts dopamine, exercise, music, falling in love, even small wins, tags more moments as significant. Anything that forces attention, flow states, difficult problems, deliberate presence, keeps the metronome ticking properly. You don't need to do all of this. You just need to do more of it than the default. Time doesn't speed up. You stop noticing it. The years feel short because your brain, in its efficiency, stopped saving the frames. The good news is that the brain is also responsive. Give it novelty, give it attention, give it something to mark as worth remembering,